Hey guys, what's up? It's Ashley. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. It is fall. It is a brand new season. I have brand new bookshelves. I'm really excited. So let's talk fall. All right, fall is my absolute favorite time of year. I actually decorated last week. Yes, I do put up my Halloween decor in August. I love this time of year and I can't get enough of it. So I'm gonna have a ton of rec videos this time of year. I'm gonna have like gothic romances, spooky recommendations, some really good thrillers, but I figured to start us off for September, we would go the cozy fall vibes. And that's just, you know, books that make you wanna curl up with a blanket and a hot cup of cocoa on a Saturday and it's raining out and it just makes you feel warm and cozy inside. And those are the vibes we're going for here. Okay, the first book is Marriage for One by Maise. I absolutely love this book. I think this is probably like the most falliest fall book, like feeling of fall out of all of my stack that I have. This is a marriage of convenience book. Our leading characters are Jack and Rose, and yes, there are several references to Titanic in here, which I absolutely love. So Rose owns a coffee shop. She's trying to get it up and running. Jack is an attorney. Now, through some really horrible circumstances with Rose's family, she can only own the building if she's married. Okay, so Jack is the lawyer who is doing the paperwork for the family, and he offers to marry Rose because he's also interested in the property, and he said it can help them both out. So they get married the very beginning of the story. This whole book takes place in New York in the fall time. Rose is getting her coffee shop ready. Jack helps her. This has like sick trope where one party takes care of the other, and I just absolutely love this book. This book kind of gave me a little bit of Wall of Winnipeg in me vibes, except that it has a duo POV, which was just awesome. Chef's kiss. I love this book. I did not annotate it the first time. I kind of started to, and then I just stopped. So I am so ready for a reread so I can go back and highlight like all of my favorite things that Jack said. Okay, I feel like I recommend this book in like every single recommendation video I do, but it's my favorite book ever. So that is All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata. Our leading lady, Aurora, she is in her early to mid 30s. She's a recent divorcee, and so she decides to move to Colorado. At the very beginning of the book, it's her old town that she happened to grow up in, and she wants to hike the old hiking trails that her mother loved. Her mother had passed away, and so this is just her way of honoring her. However, when she does arrive in this town, it is peak season. It's like the beginning of summer, and so there's no rental properties left except for one like garage apartment. She rents it, she gets there, she gets her keys. However, a really grumpy man comes barging in and asks her what she's doing there. Well, as it turns out, his son had put the property up for rent without his father knowing because he thought his dad was going to be gone all summer. This man happens to be Tobias Rhodes. So after some back and forth with him and Aurora because he doesn't want her to stay there, she offers to pay triple the amount. He caves, lets her. And this book is just, it is such like, I feel like it's a warm hug, like a warm hug in a blanket. I don't know how else to describe it. It starts in the summer, but the book progresses, and I think it ends like around Christmas time, if I'm not mistaken. But like I said, there's so much hiking in this story, and it just, this is like the fall book of all fall books. So please go read it if you have not read it yet. It is my favorite of all time. Okay, then we have Archer's Voice by Sheridan. This one technically takes place in the summer, but at the end of the book, you progress through fall. But there is just something about this book that just feels very cozy and fall to me. So Archer is a mute. He had a tragic accident that happened to him as a child, which caused him to lose the ability to speak. Bree is the new girl who moves to town, and she's running from her own tragic backstory. She meets Archer and discovers that no one in town really talks to him and no one's really nice to him. They're kind of scared of him. and the two develop just this such beautiful relationship and friendship. It is kind of insta love, but I don't care. I absolutely love this book. It is the most touching story that I have ever read. I did cry when I read it. I do want to read it again. Like I said, there is just something about this book that is just so cozy and like warm to me. Then we have Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. This is another tearjerker one. So this one follows Maise and I think Elliot, yes. And this is one of those books that bounces back between the past and the present. And Elliot and Maise were the best of friends when they were teenagers. They lived next door to each other. It was her and her father's vacation home, but I think his actual home. And so that's how they like would hang out and everything like that. They had an incident when they were together, when they were like 17 or something, that caused them to not speak to each other for like 9 years or so. They meet up in the present day, and it's just, this is another one of those absolutely beautiful stories. The twist at the end that like everybody said would make them cry, I honestly did not see that coming. And yes, it did make me cry, but it was just such a wholesome story. I also did find this to be a super quick and easy read too. So if you're looking for a cozy fall Rex that is like a fast read on a quick Saturday, this is a really good one for that. Then I have The Simple Wild by K.A. Tucker. I absolutely love this book. This is another one that takes place in the summer, but because of the setting and everything, it just feels very fall. So Calla is our leading lady, and she lives in Canada, I believe, and she finds out that her father that she did not grow up with, her estranged father, he is dying with cancer. And so her mom and her stepfather basically kind of convince her to fly home to Alaska to get to know him for a little bit in his final months and kind of make amends with their relationship. So she flies to Alaska to do that, and Jonah ends up picking her up on a teeny tiny plane because of where they are in Alaska. You can only get there by little planes, and it's the plane company that her father owns. He's like his best pilot. Well, Jonah does not like how high maintenance Calla is. It kind of reminded me a teeny bit of It Happened One Summer. Calla was kind of a little bit like Piper with like her looks and the way she dressed and everything like that, and Jonah was not for it. It was very opposite of Brendan in It Happened One Summer, where he like loved it. Jonah did not like how high maintenance Calla was. In fact, there was this one scene in the book where he hides her makeup because she looks better without it, and I absolutely loved it. But it is cold as hell where they live, so she's always talking about how cold she is. But this is just another good tearjerker one. I loved it. And then we have The Wall of Winnipeg and Me by Mariana Zapata. This is one of my big comfort books. So this is another marriage of convenience story. And Vanessa is the personal assistant to Aiden. Aiden plays professional football for the NFL in Texas. And at the very beginning of the story, she kind of eavesdrops and overhears a conversation where Aiden's manager is talking crap about her and he's not sticking up for her. So she walks out and quits. And a month later, she finds Aiden at her doorstep, begging her to come back, that he needs her. Well, as it turns out, he is Canadian and his visa is up. And so he asks Vanessa if she will marry him so that he can stay in the country. And I love this story. This is a thick bad boy, okay? This is like the biggest slow burn I have ever read in my entire life. I'm telling you guys, spice does not happen until the very end. Like, I think this pink tab right here is probably the first spice, okay? But I absolutely love this book. This book, I read it on a Sunday with football on the background, and it screams fall, okay? The whole book is fall. So it's going to start off the beginning of football season, and it's going to end after the Super Bowl. So just, if you are a football gal, just go try this one, okay? And then switching gears a teeny tiny bit, I have The Invisible Life of Addie Louroe. I absolutely love this story. It was one of my favorite books from last year. And this whole story just screams fall, okay? So this is a historical romance fantasy, I guess you could say. It starts off in the 1700s, where Addie is originally from. And in that time, people are more concerned with women getting married and having babies than exploring life, I guess. Addie wants to explore life. So after many, many trials and being able to avoid getting married, there is one wedding that she is just not going to avoid. It's going to happen. And so she ends up praying on her knees, like full on begging to the gods, please, please, I can't do this. And the one god who ends up answering her is Luke. And Luke goes by the Darkness. And he grants Addie a wish that she can have more time in the world to enjoy life and everything. However, Luke is the villain of this story, and so he kind of tricks her. And basically, when he gives her immortality for all this time out of life, he also makes it so everyone in her life forgets that she exists, with the added twist that any future person that she meets is never going to remember her as soon as she is out of their line of sight. So Addie is basically cursed to be alone forever and eternity. And this, I love this. This is actually the book that really got me into villains getting the girl. And this is a love triangle book, so Addie is going to meet Henry, a good guy, later on in the story. And obviously Luke is our bad guy who has been tormenting Addie for over 300 years. And like I said, it's very cozy to me. It is such a cozy read. I love it. Now, I know this is a controversial, well, it's like a hot take book, okay? Half the people in the world love it, or half the other people absolutely hate it, and I have yet to find anybody in between. So I guess give it a shot. If you don't love it, hey, a lot of people didn't love it, but a lot of people also did. So form your own opinion, I guess. And then last but not least, I have the Ex Hex. This was a new release last year. This was my book of the month last year. I really like this one. If you love Halloween witches, but you like the cozy Halloween witches that like aren't scary, like Hocus Pocus Disney Channel vibes, this is a really good one. So it starts off with, okay, so I haven't read this in a year, but Vivian has just been dumped by Reese, her boyfriend. And so one night with her cousin, they're just kind of joking around about hexing him because her cousin owns like a shop that has like fake spells and like potions and stuff like that. So she's obviously really depressed that she's been broken up with. And so they're joking about placing a hex on him. Well, Vivian is actually magical. She doesn't know this, and so she actually ends up hexing him. And so a long time goes by, I think a couple years, maybe even a decade, I can't remember, but Reese ends up coming back to this college town. Well, the moment he steps foot back into town is when the curse or the hex starts taking place. So he finds Vivian, and because of this hex, a whole bunch of crazy shit is happening to the town. Like, it's causing a whole bunch of stuff to happen. And so the two of them have to work together to break this hex. And it was just a fun story. I really enjoyed it. So like I said, if you love the cute, cozy Halloween aspect, this is a great one. Okay, well, that is all that I have for Cozy Fall Recs. Like I said, this is my absolute favorite time of year, so I'm going to have a ton of different fall-themed videos coming out. So if you guys have any other cozy fall recommendations, let me know because I need more. All right, I will see you guys next time. Bye!